My name is Duddits, I do builds and stuff. Arc Warlock build today. I've got a problem, I'm addicted to turrets. I can't stop throwing them. We're going to have 3 turrets in this build. It's an absolute joke. The 3 turrets are going to come from the new dungeon exotic, the Finalty's Auger solar turret. We're going to be featuring the Ionic Sentry for infinite turrets that way, and Arc Soul. And all the while we're going to be building up our bolt charges as well, which just randomly release massive arc damage. And these 3 turrets will literally do all the work for you, so you can deploy these turrets. Go make a sandwich, go make a cup of tea or a pot noodle, whatever you want. Stay with me, I'll break it all down. Now, the first turret is going to come from Finalty's Auger. This is the brand new dungeon exotic. Press to fire a special projectile that deploys a rune scribe turret. This projectile costs 3 ammo to fire. It's also got the trait on there. When the RuneScape turret is deployed, this weapon can paint targets with its laser projectiles. The turret prioritizes painted targets. So first of all, this exotic is basically a solar linear fusion rifle. It's got 2 modes. It's got normal linear fusion rifle, and you'll also see on that bottom left, it's got the create turret mode. Now, just switch between them by holding your reload button down, and then you can fire one of these turrets. It looks like a little pyramid, and this fires solar damage all over the place. Loads and loads of little solar sort of turrets flying about left, right and centre. And you can also, when you're in that mode, paint targets by switching to the RuneScape turret mode, just like so. And once you've got it sort of deployed, you can just sit back and that'll do a bit of work for you. Just randomly spamming solar flares left, right and centre, raining down a bit of solar damage on some targets, just like so. This is just a standard mode, I haven't painted anything yet. So basically, as you can see, it's just there doing a bit of damage for you in the background, which helps, obviously, in loads of different situations. Now, if you go over to the create turret mode again, fire it, and then if you actually paint the target, this will make this weapon, the turret, fire stronger munitions at the target, more damage. It actually focuses it like so. You'll see it starts doing a lot more damage. And obviously then, we've got the particle reconstruction artifact perk, which we'll go into, giving you even more damage. So that's one turret. Now the other turrets are going to come from the Arc subclass, the Ionic Sentry, the brand new Warlock aspect. Defeat targets with kinetic or arc weapons to charge up an arc turret. This chains lightning between enemies and builds up your bolt charge. As we know with bolt charge, that'll just randomly release a massive bolt charge of damage, doing loads of damage. So basically, if you get kills with your arc weapon or kinetic weapons, you're going to charge, and your arc abilities as well, that is going to charge up this little arc turret. So 2 turrets on the go. If you want, you can put your RuneScape turret down from the Finalty's Auger, and then you've also got that. But we've got another turret as well via the Arc Soul. Whenever you cast your Rift, you're going to create Arc Souls that you and your teammates can pass through. That'll grant you Arc Souls, and when you're amplified, they go overcharge mode. So basically, once you've got your Rift down, you can literally run through. You're going to get Arc Souls going. So that's like another little turret mode. Loads and loads of Arc Souls flying about left, right and centre, doing damage, getting kills. And obviously when your teammates pass through that Rift, you're going to grant them Arc Souls as well. Obviously you've got your Ionic Sentry, which we've just touched on. So you've got that and your Arc Souls going, and you're going to have the Finalty's Auger turret going all at the same time. Quick example, there's 1 turret, 2 turrets, put your Rift down, and you are now a walking turret. You've got 3 turrets deployed on the battlefield, and they will do all sorts of damage left, right and centre. And you can paint the target with your Auger's Finalty to do extra damage or focus it that way, or you can just leave them to sort of free roam and do what they want. Now, if you've got everything sort of charged up, you might like look at a room like this where you think you got a couple of phalanxes there in the lost sector. Just fire your turrets in there. Like, look at that, it's an absolute joke. You've obviously the dungeon exotic, the Finalty's Auger is going to be doing work for you. You're going to have your Ionic Sentry, you can put your Rift down. You're going to have, like, that's literally just clearing enemies for you, left, right and centre. And you can just stay in that room, really. Throw them in there, go make a sandwich, go make a pot noodle, whatever you want. Let that do a bit of work for you. Just like so, really, really good. Without really focusing it too much, these do really nice damage as well. And all the meanwhile, like I said, we're going to be building up that bolt charge times 2 times 3. When it gets to max, that Arc Soul or your Ionic Sentry is going to randomly just fire off a massive arc bolt of energy that does loads of damage as well. So you got that to add in there as well. Just randomly, you're just going to get these big arc explosions, and it feels absolutely insane. There's loads and loads of different things we're going to show you as well with regards to an exotic. We haven't even touched on the exotic armor yet, just yet. This is how good this build is. And again, I just want to say with that Finalty's Auger, that is just 3 damage once you've got that turret deployed. Now, while we go on to the damage of the build, you're going to do loads of damage with that turret, loads of damage with your Ionic Trace. Your Ionic Sentry, with your Arc Souls, just loads of damage. But obviously this season we've got particle reconstruction. Fusion rifles and linear fusion rifles are a really important part of this build as well, because I'm not just running the exotic linear fusion rifle, I've also got a couple of fusion rifles that will pair nicely, and that will actually lead on to the exotic. But I just want to show you a few more examples of how this particular setup is extremely useful in loads and loads of different situations. Again, if you've got like a cluster of enemies over there, just lob your turrets into that area there, just get them lobbed in there and just watch them do some work. Sit back and it does loads and loads of damage. Just for like raid or dungeon encounters, or even like if you're just doing a Vanguard Strike or GMs where you have to capture plates, like put your turret up there, that's going to automatically focus them spawns. You've got your Ionic Sentry just there as well, just popping away, and you can just sit back on that plate and just have a little chill, check your WhatsApp or whatever. There's a couple of exotics you could pair with this particular build, but I went with the Rain of Fire because what this does is every time you get a kill with a fusion rifle or a linear fusion rifle, it's going to give you Radiant, which is a 20% damage increase for about 10 seconds. That with the particle reconstruction, it doesn't feel fair. It really does make a big difference. You'll see on that left hand side, I've got my Radiant going. Now, the interesting thing with the Finalty's Auger, once you've got that turret deployed, if that gets a kill, that is automatically going to proc your Radiant. So that turret, from that Finalty's Auger is basically free Radiant for you on the fly. Now, a couple of other arc fusion rifles you can consider is plug 1 with Control Burst. You're obviously going to get Control Burst going and a constant supply of Radiant going from the Rain of Fire and the Finalty's Auger. I also picked up this new arc one I actually got it from inside the dungeon as a wild drop, I think. It was just like a wild drop, and this actually rolls with Rolling Storm, which will give you Bolt Charge, which obviously fits perfectly with this build. You're going to get Bolt Charges anyway from all of your Arc Souls and your Ionic Sentry, and you're going to get your Radiant going. You're going to have like Bolt Charges building up, so if you've got one of them lying about, get that on. That helps the build, and it's a load of massive damage because, like I said, you've got your Radiant going like so from the Auger's turret, and you're gonna literally just have loads of damage with that particle reconstruction as well going, and it feels really, really nice. Like I said, there was a couple of exotics I had to play with, but Rain of Fire really fitted this build perfectly. So the next segment of the video, the next part of the video, I'm just going to break down all the fragments and clear up everything that you've seen going on. So Aspects Ionic Sentry, which we've touched on. This is a really, really good new aspect. We're going to be running Arc Soul again, which we've touched on. Now for your grenade and melee, you can pretty much run anything you want. It doesn't make no difference. I like Storm Grenade or Pulse Grenade, either one of them two, because they do quite a lot of damage. So either one of them is what I prefer, but it's entirely your call. Spark of Resistance, while you're surrounded by combatants, you are more resistance to incoming damage. I pretty much run that on every single arc build. Spark of Shock, your arc grenades jolt targets. Why not? We may as well be jolting with our grenades as well. And on top of that, I run Spark of Frequency. This is really good because while you're amplified, the effects are increased and you gain increased stacks of bolt charge from all sources. Absolutely great fragment. And then finally, I really like this one again for bolt charge in the back of my mind. Sliding over ammo bricks, reload your equipped weapon, and it also gives you bolt charges. I'm going to leave my mods on the screen like so. The reason why I don't really focus on the mods too much on the video like I do with the aspects of fragments is because I build it a certain way. You might decide to build it a different way. I really like to run solar reserves, but you might want to run arc reserves, for example. And I also don't run surges because of Radiant, but you might want to run surges. That's your call. This is just the way I like to run it. I'll go on the seasonal artifact perks as well. These really help you out, although they're not an absolute necessity. These will work perfectly when we do this build, sorry, will work perfectly when we don't have these. Things like Dielectric, defeating arc debuff targets, grants you a bolt charge. That's obviously going to help you out as well for your bolt charges. Really sort of good seasonal artifact perk. Again, it will enhance the build. It's not absolutely needed. And we've also got things like Flashover. When you gain maximum bolt charge, you also become amplified. Lightning bolts deal more damage. That one's actually pretty strong. And then what we've already touched on is Particle Reconstruction for even more damage on top of your Radiant, and then Defibrillating Blast. If you're doing endgame activities for champions, you're going to get a maximum stack of bolt charge whenever you stun a champion. But that pretty much wraps up the video. I'm going to leave a dim link in the video description as always, and I will be putting this video on my Mobalytics page, my community page. So I'll leave a link to that also. If you want a more in-depth sort of like text style explanation, check that out. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.